Okay, so hi and welcome to this short video tutorial, and during this short video tutorial we are going to add equivalent fractions and then we are going to simplify them. So we'll just go through a couple of things first. So first of all, in a previous video we looked at simplifying fractions. We'll run through that again very quickly. So I'm going to use the example of 12/16, and what I need to do is look at my numerator, look at my denominator. I need to find the highest common factor of both of those. So what I did was I listed the factors of 12 and then listed the factors of 16. So 12 and 1, 6 and 2, 3 and 4. And then for 16, it was 16 and 1, 8 and 2, and 4 and 4. So then I looked at my two lists and I put a ring around my highest common factor. So the highest common factor for 12s and 16s was 4. Then I had to divide my numerator by 4, which gave me 12 divided by 4 was 3. And then 16 divided by 4 gave me 4. And so when I simplified 12/16, I ended up with 3/4. Then in the next video what I looked at was adding equivalent fractions. So very quickly then, as a recap, we're going to add together equivalent fractions, and equivalent fractions are when the denominators are equivalent. So I'm going to use the example of 11 over 23, and then I'm going to add that to 7 over 23. And so as you can see, in both cases the denominators are equivalent, they're both 23. So all I need to do is add together the numerators. So it's going to be over 23 and then 11 plus 7, so my numerator plus numerator, that gives me 18 over 23. Okay, now what we want to look at now is adding together equivalent fractions and then simplifying them where necessary. So let's take an example of 25 over 100, and I'm going to add that to 25 over 100. So first thing I look at, the denominators, they're equivalent, so my answer is going to be over 100. Then I look at the numerators, so 25 plus 25, so that's going to give me 50. Now I need to simplify. So what I need to do is find the highest common factor of 50 and 100. Okay, so the factors then, we need to look at the factors of 50 and 100. So there's 50 up here and 100 up here. So the factors of 50 are 50 and 1 and 2 and 25. And the factors of 100 then would be 100 and 1 and 2 and 50. And I'm going to stop there. There are more factors of 100 obviously, but I can see that I have 50 on both sides. So I'm going to highlight 50 and highlight the other 50. So that's my highest common factor. So now I need to go back to the answer I got when I added together the two equivalent fractions, and I need to divide my numerator by my highest common factor, and I need to divide my denominator by my highest common factor. So 50 divided by 50, that goes in once, and then 50 into 100, that goes in twice. And so my answer then, when I add together 25 over 100 plus 25 over 100, is 50 over 100, which I can then simplify down to 1 over 2, or 1/2. Okay, let's take another example now, and this time we will add together, okay, let's add together 4 over 12, and we will add that to 6 over 12. So again, I look at my denominators and they're equivalent, so my answer is going to be over 12. Then I need to look at my numerators and add them, so 4 plus 6 is equal to 10. Then I need to look for the highest common factor in my numerator and my denominator. Looking at 10 and 12 up here, and so the factors of 10 are 10 and 1 and 2 and 5, and the factors of 12 then are 12, 1, 2 and 6 and 3 and 4. Okay, so when I look at my two lists, then my highest common factor will have a common factor of 1, but I've also a higher common factor, which is 2. So back to my sum, and I'm going to divide my numerator by 2, and then I'm going to divide my denominator by 2. So 10 divided by 2, well, that equals 5, and then 12 divided by 2, that equals 6. Okay, and so that's very quickly how to add together equivalent fractions and then how to simplify them. So we're adding our two skills together. Now in the next slide then I'm going to write out some examples, and then I will let you know when to pause it, and then I will write out the answers to the examples as well. So here comes the next slide. Okay, so I would suggest that you pause the video now and then have a go yourself, and when you restart it, I will show you the answer and then I will simplify the fraction. Okay, so I hope you've been able to complete your examples. I'm now going to give you the answers. So my first one is 3 ninths plus 3 ninths, so that's going to be over 9, and then my numerator is 3 and 3 is 6. Then I want to find the highest common factor for 6 and 9. So I know that that is going to be 3. So 6 divided by 3 gives me 2. And 9 divided by 3 gives me 3. Okay, in the second example then, I add together my numerators and then I put them over my denominator. So 7 plus 3 is 10. And then I need to find the highest common factor for 10 and 12. And I know that is 2. So 10 divided by 2 gives me 5. And 12 divided by 2 gives me 6. Okay, next one then, 30 plus 40, and that's going to be over 100. 30 plus 40 is 70. And then I need to simplify this, and I know my highest common factor for 70 and 100 is 10. So my 70 divided by 10, that gives me 7. And then 100 divided by 10, that gives me 10. And so my answer here is 7 tenths. And the last one now, so it's 20 90ths plus 30 90ths, so that's going to give 50 90ths. And then my highest common factor in this case is also going to be 10, so I divide 50 by 10, that gives me 5, and I divide 90 by 10, and that gives me 9, and my answer is 5 ninths. Okay, so that was a short video on how to add equivalent fractions and then to simplify. Thank you for your time.